Coming off of A Star is Born, all eyes were on Bradley Cooper to see what he would do next. Fast forward a few years, Cooper takes on the biopic of Leonard Bernstein called Maestro. Premiering at the New York Film Festival, Cooper delivers on, yes, a classic biopic, but also giving us a clever spin on the genre by leaning into the study of relationships and passion. From the range of great performances to amazing and mesmerizing sets, Cooper goes all out as the director and lead actor to deliver a movie that, though has some flaws, gives us just enough to latch onto. Releasing on November 20th in select theaters and on Netflix on December 20th. When you guys get to check out Maestro, let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. But without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. As I mentioned, this movie is definitely a biopic, but it shifts the core into being more of a love story rather than just being about a singular person.
Hello, I'm Lenny.
Hello, Felicia.
And I think what's so interesting about this movie is the fact that the familial aspects are definitely at the core, and it's not a classic biopic because it doesn't necessarily evolve around Leonard Bernstein himself, but rather the love that he's experiencing. And he's a very interesting person. Obviously, there's a lot of character evolution here. His life is pretty grand and pretty big, but aside from all of the composer elements, which yes, they are great, the musical aspects work very well, the personal relationship side of this movie works perfectly due to the performances, in my opinion. Obviously, in the lead, we have Bradley Cooper as Leonard Bernstein, but also Carey Mulligan as Felicia Montalegre. And in my opinion, she should get nominated for Best Actress throughout all of award season because she delivers such a great performance here. It has so many layers and it really invests you into this relationship. Obviously, Bradley Cooper is great as the lead actor and in the director's chair, but I think Carey Mulligan brings this extra flair to the film that really solidifies the believability of their relationship. I'm going to talk about the technical evolution of this film on a story and just physical aspect, but I think in terms of the acting, Carey Mulligan and Bradley Cooper are able to evolve so much throughout this film that it makes everything very interesting rather than just the story itself being interesting. The people, the characters, the performances are a character within themselves rather than just being something that aids a story. Aside from the performances though, my only flaw with this movie is the general pacing of it, because this isn't a very chunky runtime of a movie. It only comes in at 2 hours and 9 minutes. Normally biopics are on the longer side, especially when it comes to spanning so much content, which is exactly what this movie does. Earlier I mentioned Ferrari, but that takes place over 3 years. I had also mentioned Priscilla, which I already have a review up for. You can check it out right here. But that movie also has a similar problem to this one where it's just around 2 hours, but it packs so much that the pacing becomes a little bit diluted because of that. And the same problem stems here in Maestro. The first and second acts feel weirdly elongated, and then the third act feels very rushed, again similar to Ferrari and Priscilla. But I think why the pacing feels so weird is because when you're getting into the second act, it focuses solely on the relationship, but the first act is more of a mix of the relationship and passion aspects, but the final act feels like it fully dives into the passion aspect, the conductor aspect of Leonard Bernstein's life, which is obviously necessary and it obviously is very entertaining, but it does feel very separated and just disconjointed whenever you're looking at the movie as 3 separate acts. But I think throughout the film, my favorite part of it has to be the technical brilliance. The evolution of this movie is like something I've barely seen before. A lot of the older sequences in this movie are in black and white, and I've heard a lot of people critique it for that because they feel no real creative decision behind that. But personally, it does for me a great job of splitting up not only the pacing, but also real chunks of the lives that we're witnessing. It's not just a creative flair, but it feels like it actually adds something to the character development. And I think on top of that, on a technical level, the makeup and costumes are absolutely amazing. They evolve throughout this film like no other. You see such a great evolution that aids all of the character and story work, and no other aspect ever feels left behind. The makeup is great. I think Bradley Cooper fully dives into who Leonard Bernstein is. And then obviously this film spans over decades, and the costume department, the sets, everything is perfect. It fully immerses you into this film. But the final thing I want to talk about is why I actually find this movie really interesting, and that is the thematic elements. It's not some theme that's life questioning, but it is one that I personally enjoy when films talk about, and that is art versus love. Bernstein's dilemma is just very well expressed here, and it's expressed in a way that's able to push forward in the story of his love with Felicia. As a whole, I really liked Maestro. I think there are some core problems with the film, but as a whole, it gives a pretty unique spin on the biopic genre by not just focusing on one important character, but rather a love that is what really forms that character. As a whole, I think Maestro is definitely worth checking out. Overall, I'm going to give Maestro an 8 out of 10. Again, if you've seen or want to check out Maestro, let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.